9,000 years before the time of Plato, there existed an empire so advanced, so powerful, and so wealthy that it defied the laws of the ancient world. They called it Atlantis, a city of concentric rings, golden temples, and technology that seemed like magic. And then, in a single day and a single night of misfortune, it vanished, swallowed by the ocean, erased from the maps, and dismissed as a myth for over 2 millennia. But what if the myth was real? What if we have been looking in the wrong place all along? In 2026, new satellite data and deep-sea sonar have revealed something beneath the waves and beneath the sands of the Sahara that is about to rewrite human history. Welcome to Unresolved Truths. Today, we find the Lost Empire. Our story begins in Athens, 360 years before Christ. The great philosopher Plato writes 2 dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. In these texts, he describes a massive island located just beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. This wasn't just a city, it was a naval superpower. Plato describes a kingdom divided into 10 sections, ruled by 10 kings, descendants of Poseidon himself. Critics say Plato was writing a metaphor for a failing society. But Plato insisted his story was true, passed down through generations from the Egyptian priests of Sais. Why would the most logical mind in history invent a lie this detailed? Unless he was giving us a map to a real catastrophe. Plato's description of Atlantis sounds more like a futuristic city than a Bronze Age settlement. He speaks of Orichalcum, a mysterious red metal that was second only to gold in value, coating the entire outer wall of the city. He describes massive canals, bridges that could accommodate ships, and a harbor that was constantly bustling with merchants from every corner of the earth. But the most shocking part? The energy. Some theorists believe the Atlanteans possessed a power source, often called the Firestone or the Great Crystal, that could harness the energy of the sun. If Atlantis existed 11,000 years ago, it means human civilization didn't start with small farms. It started with a global empire that we lost. For centuries, we searched the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. But the biggest breakthrough of 2026 takes us to the middle of the Mauritanian desert. This is the Richat Structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. From space, it looks like a giant bullseye. When you measure it, the dimensions match Plato's description of Atlantis almost perfectly. Plato said the city was 127 stadia in diameter, the same as the Richat. He spoke of mountains to the north and a great plain to the south. In the Sahara, those mountains and plains are exactly where they should be. Is it possible that the Great Flood didn't just sink Atlantis, but moved the very earth beneath it, leaving the ruins high and dry in the world's largest desert? While the desert holds secrets, the ocean is finally speaking. In 2026, independent research teams using multi-beam sonar near the Azores Islands discovered massive stone structures 3,000 feet below the surface. These are not natural rock formations. We see perfect 90-degree angles, staircases, and what appears to be a giant pyramid base. Geologists have confirmed that this area was once above sea level during the last ice age. When the glaciers melted, the sea level rose by 400 feet almost overnight. Was this the single night of misfortune Plato described? The evidence is mounting. A global flood didn't just happen in the Bible. It happened to Atlantis. If Atlantis fell, where did the people go? Look at the pyramids of Egypt. Look at the temples of the Maya in Mexico. How did 2 civilizations, separated by a vast ocean, build almost identical structures and share the same advanced knowledge of the stars? The theory is simple. The survivors of Atlantis fled to the east and the west, bringing the seeds of civilization to the rest of the world. Atlantis isn't just a lost city, it is our origin story. As the tide of history turns, we are finally realizing that we aren't the first advanced species to walk this earth. We are just the ones who survived to tell the tale. Subscribe to Unresolved Truths as we continue to dig into the past that was never meant to be found.